Hi, my name is Willie Cook, and today, on this video, I'm going to talk about how to align the steering on this tractor. These are all the tools you're going to need. You're going to need a wrench to adjust the steering wheel. You're going to need a adjustable wrench to adjust the tie rod ends, and a screwdriver to mark the gears underneath. Okay, now hang on a second, I'll show you the gears I'm talking about. This is a view from underneath the tractor. I marked the center of that gear with a screwdriver, and then from there, like counting the teeth from one side to the other, I marked the center. From there, I went up on top and centered the steering wheel. Now, there's a little bit of play in the steering, so I tried to get it as center as best I could. Okay. From there, when you get the more or less center of it, we know the frame here is straight as for tracking, so we're going to use that frame in the tractor as a reference point to straighten this wheel with that steering wheel. So what I do is I take a tape measure, and because this has a nice flat side on it, if you don't have a flat side, you may need to use a block of wood off the rim in here and measure to the frame. But since this tire has a nice flat spot, I can measure right from here. Try to keep the tape measure at the bottom of the frame and as parallel as you can. You get a measurement, which in this case, about 9 3/8. And if I go to the front, which I have a nice lovely hole there, right where I wanted it, I have about 9 3/8. So I just adjusted the tie rod end accordingly. You may have to thread it in or out. You'll need a wrench to adjust these nuts. One side is going to be a reverse thread, one side is going to be regular thread. So you're going to have to test and prod to see which way the threads are going to get it loose. You may need, it might be a better idea to use a line wrench on that if you have one. It's a 9/16. And to center the steering wheel, that is also a 9/16. There's a bunch of, you can loosen this bolt and you can take the steering wheel off and turn it a notch or two until you get it straight with that gear underneath. So now I can go on to the other side. So I'll try to get that on camera for you. So hang on. Okay, this should be a pretty good view. It's got my tie rod end under here. And here's my frame. I'm going to measure it from here and from up here. Now looking at the other side, we already know it was right around 9 3/8. And on this side, we're about 9 3/4. And on this side, which is the front, we're right just under 9, about 9 15/16, 9 7/8, somewhere around there. So we know we got to run this one in. So you may need a pair of pliers to get these to turn, because they don't always turn by hand. So this is the side with regular thread on this one. So turn it in. Probably have to go in quite a way, so I might have to loosen these nuts. Now this wheel's going to want to stick to the ground a little bit, so you might have to wiggle the steering wheel to get everything centered back up again. It takes a little bit because it is fine thread. Right now I'm turning this side in, which on the reverse threaded side on the inside will be going in as well. So let's see where we're at. Center the steering wheel back up. Let's see if we can't get a measurement. So now we're about 9 3/8. And 9 3/8. Well, you know. So I should be able to go to the other side, and that'll still be where I left it. So hang on. Now let's see where this side is at. I didn't touch anything. Just taking another measurement. It looks like we're at 9 3/8. Remember, I'm off the frame, not the plow bracket. 9 3/8. So we're now centered up. So now you can pull the wrench and tighten down these nuts. Give me a second, I gotta figure out a way to get that angle. Okay, we don't want to screw up our measurements, so you want to hold the rod with your hands, if you can, Sometimes they get stuck. You might need a pair of pliers or channel locks. You don't want to turn that rod. That's a little bit sticky. Now you could use some W40 or penetrating oil on here to loosen things up, and this is the side with reverse thread on it. So at least on this tractor the reverse thread is on the right side and the right thread is on the left side of the tractor. So that makes things a little bit easier. So that's why I'm going backwards to tighten it up. So once again, we don't want the rod to move. Now, another thing we got to do is we got to make sure that the turnbuckle is rotated so we get play on both sides. I want to rotate the turnbuckle as well as the same direction I'm turning the nut, so we get can keep play in this tie rod so it can pivot as once it's all in place. We don't want it to bind up in any way, so you want to turn this tie rod end the same direction you're turning the nut until it stops moving, so you got your play. Same thing with the other side. We'll rotate it the same direction we're going to rotate the nut. I don't need to hold this side anymore. I can now turn that back. This rubber piece is just a dust shield. So I'll get my wrench up in there. Sorry if I'm in your way. But sometimes you only got so much space to work with. You want to make sure you have play this direction. As you can see, I can move it all the way this way, all the way that way. So you want the play in there so it doesn't bind up and put any wear or tension on anything. While you're in here, it probably doesn't hurt to put a lubricant on here. I don't suggest grease or oil because dust can stick to it. If you didn't want to put oil on, you don't have to. I like to use fluid film because that doesn't tend to attract all the dust. We'll have the rinse repeat in both sides. So as you can see, wheels are now straight. So that's how you do an alignment on a Craftsman garden tractor. So thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And have a good day.